Welcome to season 3 of The Skinny. I'm your host, Shazan. So many things happening all at the same time. Incredible conversations and movements that have been ignited and reignited. Much to learn and even relearn. This season on The Skinny, we dig deeper, cutting the fat and getting right down to the nitty-gritty on topics that impact our lives. I'm so excited to highlight amazing stories and facilitate impassioned voices and conversations, eager to share, learn, grow, and evolve with you into more amazing, enlightened, and empowered souls. So come on, honey bunnies, let's do this. Hi, honey bunnies. I hope you're doing amazing and at the end of a great week for you. And if this was a rough one, I completely understand. Remember, your feelings and emotions are all valid and should be nurtured as you pass through to your better moments, which we can all hold on to because they're definitely coming. So, we are officially in the holiday season. Yay! I love how it usually changes the entire vibe in the air. I also know that this year everything's a little different and maybe a bit peculiar in the ways that we'll be spending it together or not together. And I wanted to take the time to personally let you know that I am so grateful for each and every one of you. I have thoroughly enjoyed communicating with you after the episodes, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate the time that you take every week to give me your feedback on how the episode has impacted you, enlightened you, taught you something new, or made you feel like I was right there in the room speaking directly with you. That means so much. And I can't believe this is already the 7th episode in the new season. And wow, it's flying by and I'm loving it. I just want to use this time to express my sincere gratitude to you and to let you know that I hear you, I think about you, and I genuinely appreciate you. So let's jump right into another micro episode on The Skinny. I'm going to be defining and explaining 10 of the many trending terms we've been hearing a lot. So, research is clear that the people who live the longest and are the happiest and most fulfilled are those who live with purpose. It's also no secret about the power that each of us have as consumers and spenders in the economy. In aligning ourselves to our values when we make decisions in and for our lives has become top priority for many people, especially in recent years. So, this approach impacts where and how we shop for groceries, clothes. It actually applies to any form of our consumption needs, and it definitely includes how we spend our time as well. So we show our support, our approval, and disapproval through our dollars. That even stretches to how we give our likes on social media. We've heard the phrase voting with our dollars, or another one that's common is put your money where your mouth is. The ultimate goal of all of this is breaking the habit of mindless consumption and becoming more aware and intentional and informed about the people and companies that we support and spend with. So, this leads us to a few of the many terms that we've been hearing used frequently nowadays. Some of this I have also used during the show, and most times we can decipher a close meaning or the intention of a word in a conversation simply by the way that it's used. But what do these words and terms really mean? I thought it would be the perfect time in the season to break down 10 of the many terms that are commonly used and pretty much killing two birds with one show. I'm going to let that sit for a minute. Did you see what I did there? So I'm answering some of the questions that I've received about some of these terms that I've used and also exploring a few others a bit more. So here we go. First one, sustainability. We have been hearing that all over the place, but what does it really mean? There's actually many different views and opinions on this concept and how it can truly be achieved. So sustainability means meeting our own needs without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. And it's something that can be continued or practiced. And the goal is maintaining conditions without harming the environment. An example, applying and practicing the concept of reduce, reuse, repurpose, and recycle. The term is widely used to also specify programs, initiatives, and actions directed to the preservation of 4 distinct areas: human, social, economic, and environmental. And these are referred to as the four pillars of sustainability. So then, what is sustainable living, you might be wondering? Sustainable living means prioritizing the use of natural and renewable resources instead of creating excess waste and depleting resources for future generations. So, some examples: use less energy, swapping your bulbs for energy efficient ones. Be conscious of your water use, shorter showers, using cooler temperatures in the shower and for laundry, buying secondhand, carry reusable bags when you go shopping to cut down on plastic waste, especially now because many of the stores aren't allowing you to bring back some of the reusable bags that you'd be able to purchase, at least here in LA. You purchase your bags at checkout, but you can bring them back and use them again, which because of the pandemic is not being allowed right now. So actually using those reusable bags of your own is pretty good right now. Switching to reusable sandwich bags, cutting back on replacing your disposable plates and utensils with using regular flatware and utensils instead, and being more thoughtful and intentional with your purchases. So now we move on to eco-friendly. That's number 2. Eco-friendly is also known as environmentally friendly and refers to goods and services that inflict minimal harm on the environment. And it gets thrown around a lot. So you may see it on labels for what seems like almost everything now. And when it comes to products, for example, eco-friendly means everything from production to packaging needs to be safe for the environment. So some companies use those labels and some even create their own fake labels, but legitimate eco-friendly packaging must also explain why it's environmentally responsible. So this leads me into the next term: greenwashing. Greenwashing is misleading marketing claims from companies, which we have been seeing a lot of. And it's a term used for when a company is deceptively putting eco-friendly claims like environmentally friendly, sustainable, or green on their packaging, which of course is done to deceive consumers, to get them to spend a higher price on the actual product, and also pulling more people who are trying to be more sustainable, but they're not being sincere with their labeling. So an example I found in Good Housekeeping article is a comforter or sheet that's labeled all natural. So while the product may be made by plant-based materials like bamboo, for example, the raw materials have to go through a series of manufacturing processes, and that actually alters them. So this claim is actually deceptive because all natural suggests that the bedding came straight from nature. And according to the director of Textile Labs, there actually is no such thing as bamboo fiber. Number 4 is fast fashion. So we hear this one used a lot. Fast fashion is actually inexpensive clothing produced rapidly by mass market retailers in response to the latest trends. It's actually a term used to describe highly profitable business models, and it's based on replicating runway trends and high fashion designs, and these garments are then mass produced at very, very low cost. And the economics behind it, it demands the clothes to be produced very quickly using massive amounts of cheap material and cheap labor. So this means relying on laborers and garment workers that are at the very lowest end of the wage spectrum. And in foreign countries, they're not functioning with the protections for the workers. So there's continuous exploitation of workers overseas and also here in the US in some of the garment manufacturing companies too. So there's a report by the New York University Stern Center for Business and Human Rights, and they analyzed the situation with a specific focus on Africa's fastest growing economy, which is in Ethiopia. And in a rush to attract foreign investments, Ethiopia has promoted the lowest base wage in any garment producing country. And that is $26 a month for their workers, which of course is not fair wage, and they cannot survive off of that. So now we move on to slow fashion. Slow fashion is actually an awareness and approach to fashion by us, the individuals and companies. It considers the entire process and resources required to making our clothing. It involves us buying better quality garments that will last us a lot longer versus ones that will be tossed or become unwearable after just three wears because of its poor quality. And that is also known as the throwaway culture, where everything gets tossed or is considered old after just wearing an item for three times. So, slow fashion actually values the fair treatment of people, animals, and the planet during the fashion making process. So, quick examples. Emphasis with slow fashion is on the fair treatment of people. It encourages slower production schedules, fair wages, a lower carbon footprint, and slow fashion is about consuming and creating fashion consciously and with integrity, which is the opposite of fast fashion. We're at number six, which is fair trade. Fair trade, defined simply, is when producers and makers in developing countries are paid a fair price for their work by companies in developed countries. And it's an arrangement that's also there and designed to help the producers achieve equitable trade relationships. Number seven, fair labor. So, fair labor is actually a code of conduct within industries with participating companies, and mostly in the clothing and shoe industries. So, they agree to provide factory workers with fair wages, living wages, responsible work hours, the right to collective bargaining of the income and work conditions. It provides a safe and healthy workplace free from abuse and discrimination, and also overtime compensation that is fair. And a huge common problem in many of these production facilities is forced labor and child labor. So it isn't allowed anywhere within the companies that operate under the Fair Labor Code of Conduct. We have number eight, conscious fashion. I love this one. The fashion industry has been exposed for exploiting the basic human rights of people throughout the supply chain. And conscious fashion is a growing design philosophy. And it's any type of fashion acting as a vehicle for positive change and operating with critical awareness. Examples: asking questions like where something came from, who made my clothes, choosing to buy quality over quantity. And the ultimate goal of conscious fashion is to educate and empower consumers to make more intentional, informed, and thoughtful choices, pretty much like this. And so, here are some examples of things that you can do that's operating under conscious fashion. So, clothing swaps, thrifting, being a repeat offender, which means enjoying and wearing your clothes many times over, and also repurposing your clothes are a few additional examples of conscious fashion choices. And you're probably doing some of these already. So, number nine is upcycle. And this is also known as creative reuse. It's the process of transforming unwanted products into something new and in a way to create something that's maybe higher quality or of higher value to you. So, upcycling is a form of recycling, and recycling is turning waste into new materials. So, a couple of examples of upcycling that I've personally done is my shoes, for example. My leather shoes, they might look worn down or the insoles are worn away. So, I've actually replaced them with fabrics. And I have videos of that on Instagram if you want to see that. And also with clothes, like I've turned a curtain from the thrift store into a two-piece skirt set, and that is upcycling. It's using something in a new way, creating a new purpose for it. It's so fulfilling. I will tell you that when you see that this thing, you're able to revive it and extend its life. So, last but definitely not least, and this is something that's so interesting that I wanted to share with you. I'm not very familiar with it, but when I found it, I definitely thought it was something that, should be more known. It's number 10, and that is free cycle, not recycle. Free cycle. And this is to give away something used or unwanted as opposed to selling it or throwing it away. So this is through arrangements that are made via the internet. And this is a concept that has assisted in waste reduction. And there's actually an online community that has been established, and it's a nonprofit organization, and it's called the Free Cycle Network. And this network, it's grassroots and entirely a nonprofit movement of people. And it's all about reuse, and it shows individuals in various areas what's available and who are the people that are giving, who's getting stuff that's in your own town. So it's all over. And through a free cycle program, people are easily able to join the network in their area. And their posts are there, and you can look for items that are available that you might be interested in. The best part is there's no money exchange, it's all free. Free. With no strings attached. So, benefits are reducing waste, money is saved, and the building of community awareness. So, if you think this is something that you would love to set up for yourself, you can do it. You can completely do this. And here's what they say about the process. So, first, recycle is a simple one. You collect any surplus of unwanted items and place them in areas for others to take. So, you can make it like an official thing. So, it's pretty straightforward. What you need is like a space to display and distribute the goods and a few cherry volunteers to help you throughout the day and to advertise, help you set up the display, remind everybody that yes, it's free, because that's going to be the question. I mean, I would be asking that question. Are you sure this is free? And so a free cycle can be for anything, like any kind of goods. It can be for books, it can be for furniture, appliances, tools, office supplies, clothes, shoes, you name it. There's no limitations on that. And people just browse and they take at their leisure. And that's it. That's free cycle. And I think that is so awesome. I had to share that with you guys. Okay, that, my loves, is a wrap on the 10 trending terms that I pulled together for you. So each term can actually be an episode all by itself, and some of them are already on the calendar to be episodes. And they're also important and has so much deep history. You could just go so deep into them, from the catalyst to its origination to the intention and mission that it's serving today. I hope this micro episode was enlightening. I enjoyed doing them. And I also hope that you learned something, at least one little thing, something new, or got clarification on something, and or became inspired to try something new. And many times we shy away from participating or experimenting with new things. And that definitely applies to hearing, oh, I'm going to be living a sustainable life. Because the concept or the idea of what it entails seems so overwhelming. But one thing that I definitely want you to take away and always remember me saying is that starting small with just one adjustment or one change is immediately a huge and impactful move. So whether it's switching to cold water or taking reusable bags to the grocery store instead of using their plastic bags like we were talking about earlier, or switching to bar soap for your face instead of the ones in the plastic bottles, using a water filter jug instead of the water bottles to cut back on the amount of plastic bottles that you're using and disposing of on a weekly basis in your home, and going back old school. Now, the reusable razors from back in the day, where you just replace the disposable razor blades inside, is back. It's never actually been gone, but the disposable razors definitely are the way to go for many, many people. But yeah, that's also a way that you can be cutting back on plastic. And let me see, what's another quick goodie? Oh, the reusable sandwich bags. You can rinse out the ones that you have, dry them out. If you don't have the official reusable sandwich bags, and using them more times than one, buying secondhand, participating in clothing swaps, it's everyone bringing their own items. There's many guidelines to it. with how many items you bring, what it needs to be, the quality, and all of those stipulations are set up by whoever is coordinating a clothing swap. But using cloth hand towels to cut back on the amount of paper towels that we use. And that also saves you money. So that's another plus. And who doesn't love extra money left in their budget? So these things may seem really simple and maybe even insignificant, like this really can't be it. But it is that simple. And they're all a part of living a more sustainable life. And many of them you probably already do and didn't even realize that you're already living a more sustainable life. So see, we don't have to apply everything at once, and we definitely don't have to be perfect at it or feel intimidated by those that have chosen to and have been able to convert their lives to a completely sustainable lifestyle. And we're all here just to encourage each other along the way. On an upcoming episode, I'll be interviewing an amazing young lady, and she has an amazing story about her journey and her arrival to the zero waste and minimalist lifestyle. And so we'll be able to get down to the nitty-gritty with her and get information from her firsthand experience on this extremely amazing way of living. The end. That is that. So, if you have enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, review, and share The Skinny with others. Let us know your thoughts, takeaways, and give your feedback on moments that stood out to you. It's truly important to us as we continue to evolve and grow this amazing community. If there are topics or guests that you'd like to hear on the show, please don't hesitate to drop us a line. You can always find us at our main portal, shayzon.com. That's SHAYZON.com. For all the goodies and the latest updates on the show, head over to Instagram and follow The Skinny Podcast, SKINNI Podcast. And for a peek inside the life of the voice behind the mic, follow at Shayzon. You've been listening to This Skinny with me, Shayzon. Thank you so much for sharing your time and light with me in this space where you are heard, seen, valued, and loved. Never forget you're beautiful and deserve to live a happy and empowered life. Meet you back here for next week's episode. Bye, honey bunnies. Mwah.